June 1943, late afternoon, the kind of warm American summer day where the sky seems almost too big and too blue to be real, and the long freight train dragging its way up the Hudson Valley screeches to a slow, metallic halt. Inside one of the battered troop transport cars sit dozens of German prisoners, their uniforms faded by sun and dust, the desert still clinging to the seams of their sleeves even though they crossed an ocean to get here. They are quiet, not because anyone ordered them to be, but because they no longer know what to expect from the world. A few weeks ago they were soldiers of the Afrika Korps, hardened under General Rommel's campaign, certain of their strength, certain of their purpose, certain that Germany could outlast anyone. But now they are prisoners, and prisoners do not allow themselves certainty. The doors of the train slide open with a loud iron groan that echoes down the rows of cars like a signal flare fired into the sky. Sunlight bursts in, hot, heavy, blinding. The Germans lift their hands to shield their eyes, blinking rapidly, adjusting to a world suddenly too vivid. The air smells like soil, grass, and coal smoke, unfamiliar yet strangely comforting in a way that war-torn landscapes never are. One by one they step down from the railcar onto wooden platforms baked warm by the sun. The Americans waiting for them are not shouting, not pushing, not barking commands. They stand at ease, leaning casually on rifles, chatting among themselves with a tone that feels less like hostility and more like boredom. As if this is just another afternoon. As if capturing thousands of enemy soldiers is simply a task on a checklist. And that alone is unsettling. The German prisoners expect anger. They expect contempt. They expect the victorious arrogance they themselves were taught to show in triumph. But there is none. The American guards are relaxed, almost casual. And then the Germans see the vehicles. At first, it is just one. A small, square-shaped car with open sides, thick tires, a canvas roof folded neatly behind the seats, and an engine that hums with a smooth, confident rumble. A Jeep. The Germans stare at it the way thirsty men stare at a water jug just out of reach. They have seen Jeeps before, of course. On the front lines, darting between command posts, skirting artillery fire, darting toward the horizon like foxes too fast and too cunning to catch. They knew them as American scouting vehicles, useful, quick, annoyingly resilient, but in the chaos of battle, nothing seems extraordinary, because everything is on fire. But here the Jeep stands clean, unscarred, its paint untouched by dust or shrapnel. A machine without tension. A machine without exhaustion. A machine that looks like it has never known war at all. A young German corporal named Heinrich Bauer notices the details automatically. His hands, calloused from long nights repairing broken half-tracks under the cold stars of North Africa, twitch with habit. The hoses are new. The fuel line uncracked. The tires thick with tread. The axles clean, not ground down to their last bitter days of service. This Jeep is not old. It is not scavenged. It is not salvaged from 3 others. It is simply new. Then he sees another Jeep behind it, and another, then a row of them, not 3, not 6, dozens, parked neatly, engines idling or cooling, some still with packing grease on their bolts. Heinrich feels something shift inside his chest, something small but heavy. A question forming, a fear beginning. More Jeep convoys roll into view, turning the dirt road into a river of khaki green. The American guards hardly look at them. They do not marvel. They do not admire. They do not give them the reverence German mechanics give to the precious, irreplaceable few vehicles assigned to them in the field. To the Americans, these Jeeps are not treasures. They are tools. Tools that can be replaced. Tools that can be multiplied endlessly. Tools that can be lost without consequence. Heinrich's throat dries. He glances at his sergeant, Otto Weber, a veteran who fought at Tobruk, a man who once stood waist-deep in burning sand oiling a machine gun with grease made from boiled-down boots because supply lines had collapsed and every drop of everything mattered. Otto's eyes follow the Jeeps with a stillness that is not shock, not fear, not admiration, but recognition. He understands the truth faster than the others. He always has. Bei uns Word man dafür kämpfen, Otto murmurs, the word slow, heavy, almost ashamed. Back home, we would fight over a vehicle like that. The column of prisoners begins marching toward the camp gates, boots thumping in uneven rhythm on the dirt road. A Jeep rolls past them, this one with a dent in its fender. Not large. Not severe. A minor imperfection. But the German prisoners see it the way a starving man sees a half-eaten loaf of bread thrown away. They watch as an American mechanic steps forward, inspects the dent, shrugs, and waves the vehicle toward a side yard. Not to be repaired. Not to be reinforced. Not to be cannibalized for parts. But to be set aside. Replaced. Without hesitation. Without paperwork. Without grief. Heinrich feels something twist inside him. He spent 7 nights once rebuilding a shattered axle using a hammer, a file, and a piece of iron scavenged from a ruined barn. 7 nights just to make a truck move again. And here a Jeep is retired because its fender is bent. The mechanic calls out, almost laughing, "Send it to surplus. We'll just get another." The phrase sinks into Heinrich like a stone dropped into deep water. The war, he realizes, is not just being fought on battlefields. It is being fought in factories, in supply chains, in rivers of raw materials flowing like blood through the veins of a nation that has not burned its cities to the ground. A nation that still has steel. A nation that still has gasoline. A nation that still has factories that never stop. A nation that can lose a machine and feel nothing. The Jeep is not simply a vehicle. It is a symbol. A symbol of movement. A symbol of endless replacement. A symbol of an army that will never stand still because it cannot be stopped. The German soldiers continue marching, but their steps feel different now. Not heavier. Not slower. Just smaller. Because the realization has begun. Germany has brilliant tanks. Germany has experienced soldiers. Germany has commanders who have studied decades of war. But America has something else. Something more frightening. Something more decisive. America has the ability to build faster than war can destroy. And once a nation can do that, defeat is no longer a possibility for their enemies. It is an inevitability waiting for its moment. The Germans do not speak of this yet. Not openly. Not loudly. But each of them feels it, like the distant rumble of thunder from a storm still beyond the horizon but coming closer with every minute. The war is no longer about strategy. It is no longer about bravery. It is no longer about who has the best tank, the sharpest rifle, or the boldest general. It is about who can keep fighting when everything breaks. And standing there, under the warm American sun, surrounded by new Jeeps that seem to multiply like insects in summer light, the German prisoners understand something deeply, painfully, quietly. Germany cannot win a war of exhaustion. Germany cannot win a war of production. Germany cannot win against a nation that can give away what Germany must protect with blood. This is the beginning of the end. And none of them are ready to say it aloud.